Stalis Lelaro le han dado 8.80. Se acabó para ella la clasificación, una buena clasificación. Ya ven ustedes que actúa Lydia Brie de Estados Unidos. Al público no le ha gustado ese 8.80 de Zaripova, pero creo que es absolutamente justo.
Sí, es justo, totalmente. Es muy buena gimnasta y ha hecho un ejercicio precioso, pero la pérdida de un aparato se tiene que penalizar, pérdida de ritmo, además ha terminado sin aparato, porque ha entrado a la pista después de haber terminado el ejercicio.
Our next inductee, Lydia Brie.
Lydia Brie, one of America's most accomplished rhythmic gymnasts. Lydia was the 1982 U.S. All-Around Champion and USA Gymnastics Athlete of the Year. She was an alternate for the 1984 Olympic team. She also earned 5 U.S. All-Around silver medals, as well as won the All-Around crown at the 1981 U.S. Olympic Festival. She competed at 4 World Championships and many other international events. In addition to her athletic achievements, Lydia has also been a highly successful rhythmic coach. She is one of the few individuals to win both a national title and to coach a national champion. Lydia was named the 1992 USA Gymnastics Rhythmic Gymnastics Coach of the Year. In addition to serving as a rhythmic gymnastics judge, she also has been a club owner and an elementary school teacher. Brie holds a master's degree in educational curriculum development and a liberal arts bachelor's degree. Ladies and gentlemen, Lydia Brie.
So the second example is more of the spirit and psychological. And I'll start that, and it was actually at the lowest day in my life, in my gymnastics career, which was the 1984 Nationals. And in 1984, you had a national score and you had an Olympic trial score, and the two would be added together to determine the Olympic team. I went to Nationals, and for some reason, I performed the worst I had ever performed. I started off fair, and it kind of went downhill from there. And my final event was a club event. In one of my first major tosses, my club flew up, hit the ceiling, bounced back behind my head, and was laying on the floor behind me. I was a little bit stunned because I had been pretty successful all the time. And at that moment, I kind of just felt like I wanted to give up. Dr. Andrea Schmidt is here. She sensed that. She was judging. She told me later, I almost yelled at you, continue, because had I stopped at that moment, that would have been it for me in my gymnastics career. But somewhere, and I don't know, in your mind, things pass so quickly. And in that moment, I said or felt or experienced, I'm not a quitter. And I turned around and I picked it up and I finished. It was devastating though, because at that point I was 6th place going into the Olympic trials in 1984. And so I knew I really didn't have much of a shot to make the Olympic team at that point. And I went home and I kind of nursed my wounds for a few days. And then I said, okay, it's time to get back in the gym and it's time to go there and show that you are an admirable gymnast and do the best you can. So I went to the Olympic trials, 6th place, and somehow after the first day, I kind of eked back up there, climbed the ladder, and I ended up in 4th. With my gymnast later, I always over and over said to them, consistency is the key to success. Consistency is the key to success. And they even have like nightmares of me saying that. But for me, it's like, okay, you know, you're in 4th. Still not a lot of opportunity to get into that 3rd place, but the next day through divine intervention and a consistent performance, I made it into that 3rd place. And so I was part of the team. The real truth of this story, though, and something that I didn't really appreciate till much later in my life, was that I went back to college as an adult when my daughters were a little bit older, and it was the 3rd time going back because thing after thing had stopped me from going. And I had a back injury that was very, very severe as I was going to school. My daughters, actually, when they were 5 and 7, they had to help me get dressed in the morning, put my shoes and socks on. I could no longer drive. My dad would come over and pile me into the back of his pickup and drive me to the university. And I would hobble in, and I couldn't sit down. So I took my classes standing up. And I was kind of wedged in between a lab table and a bookcase. And one day I was standing there, and I said, I can't do this anymore. The pain and the injury and lack of sleep and lack of eating from that injury. And in that moment, gymnastics thoughts came back to me again. And I said, I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to give up this dream. And I'm not turning back now. So I hobbled back to the back of the classroom, and I laid down on that dirty floor, and I took my notes laying down of the lecture. And that's what gymnastics gave to me. Because I would say at that point in my life, I wasn't really walking closely with God, but God was walking with me. And he had given me gymnastics as a sport that taught me determination and gave me an indomitable spirit.